Hey everybody, Janice Patry from the Center for Internships and Career Development at Eastern Connecticut State University, bringing to you today just a quick little webinar on the value of joining the LinkedIn community. I think as we're all spending a lot of time sheltering in place these days and doing a lot of normal everyday life online, um, for those of you that are looking for employment opportunities, whether it's seasonal employment, whether it's an internship experience, whether it's full-time employment, being part of the LinkedIn community is probably a really important piece of your career development and career growth at this point in time. So we're going to spend a little bit of time talking to you today about the value of joining that community. So a really good place to start is with Daniel Nation's article, What is LinkedIn and Why Should You Be on It? A lot of the information that I'm sharing with you today has come from advice that he shares in that article. And I think that, if you take the time to kind of read through that in its entirety, you'll understand the value of being part of the LinkedIn community. A few of the stats that he shares within the article: that there are over 660 million users right now on LinkedIn in over 200 countries and territories. And 24% of users right now are between the ages of 18 and 24 years. So the traditional college age student, people like so why not think about joining the community and really starting to build out your career profile and brand, and really branching out and making connections with people who are more than happy to share their words of wisdom and advice and guidance, and maybe serve as mentors or resources for you as you're pursuing your career opportunities. There are over 30 million companies that are a part of the LinkedIn community, from major Fortune 500 companies to smaller mom and pop and entrepreneurial businesses. So you can really learn about all different types of companies and organizations and industries simply by researching the companies that are a part of the LinkedIn community. And speaking of the Fortune 500 companies, LinkedIn is the most used platform by those organizations. So if you're still wondering if you should join LinkedIn, hopefully by the end of this quick little webinar, you'll understand why you should be part of the community. So let me share some specifics with you in terms of why you need to be on LinkedIn. First and foremost, to be seen, right? It is said that 94% of recruiters will use LinkedIn to find candidates to fill roles that they're actively seeking to fill. There's also this thing called a Google search. So 80% of employers have indicated that they normally will do some type of Google search on candidates that they're looking to bring to their organizations for interviews. And if you have a LinkedIn profile, it's probably the first thing that's going to pop up when an employer does a Google search on your name. Another reason you want to be on LinkedIn: networking, right? I think we've already kind of covered that a little bit in the previous slides. It is a huge network of professionals that are part of and make up LinkedIn. So you can definitely use that to start developing and building out your own network. And building that network now, even if you're not actively looking for an internship or employment opportunities, build your network now so that it's there for you to draw on when you are starting to look for those opportunities. And if you are looking now, that's all right. Continue to grow and develop your network and draw on it in the here and now in terms of reaching out to some of your connections and asking what they know is going on, right? Who's hiring? What opportunities are out there? What advice do they have to share with you in terms of looking for internship and employment opportunities at this point in time? Knowledge is another great reason to be on LinkedIn. The way you set up your profile, the way you interact on the site, it will definitely influence what pops up on your homepage in terms of information that is put out there for you to read and learn about. You can certainly build your profile and make connections and join groups and follow people in an effort to continue to grow your knowledge base and to be familiar with what is going on within the industries or organizations and companies that you're interested in becoming a part of. And of course, to really help in terms of conducting that job and internship search. Some of the closing slides will talk with you about, how to utilize LinkedIn as part of your search. So some best practices in terms of utilizing LinkedIn. First and foremost, you need to have a solid profile. And we will be putting together another webinar in terms of how to build out that solid profile that you want to make into your 24/7 resume that's available for anyone to see, recruiters, employers, headhunters, whoever they may be, that are out there looking for people to fill their roles that they have available. You want to use it to make quality connections. So one of the things that we normally stress is that it's quality over quantity, right? It's not a popularity contest in terms of how many connections can you make and how quickly can you make them. You really do kind of want to be selective in terms of the connections that you make. A great way for you to start is to think of the people around you that you potentially can connect with. Whether it's professors, club advisors, mentors, coaches, supervisors, co-workers, even family and friends, right? Think about people that you know that know you, that can certainly maybe be in a position to make connections for you with other people that are part of the LinkedIn network. One thing that I'll say about making connections is when you're making requests to connect, make sure that you're always personalizing that request. Don't just, find someone and, hit, yes, I'd like to connect. Explain to the person why you're looking to connect with them, especially if they don't necessarily really know who you are, or maybe it's been a while since you've had personal contact with the individual, right? Just remind them, how you know each other and that you're looking to connect on LinkedIn. If you're looking to reach out to, say, an Eastern alum that you've never met, that's fine. Make sure that they understand that you're an Eastern student, right? That you're looking to reach out to Eastern alums that have been where you are and maybe have some words of advice and wisdom and contacts that they potentially can share with you to help you in terms of developing your presence on LinkedIn, but also in helping you if you're looking for an internship or employment opportunity. Another thing we'll tell you to be is active. Everyone will have kind of a different opinion in terms of what active means. For me, I would say, spending 20 to 30 minutes 3 to 4 times a week on LinkedIn, just so that you can see if you have any new connections that have come in where people are looking to connect with you. Maybe there's some messages that you've received from connections. Definitely take a look at what's going on in your news feed. Anything that you can do to kind of, stay active and look active on LinkedIn is important as you're starting to build out your network of connections. The other thing that I say is engage, and I think there is a difference between being engaged and being active. So in terms of engagement, do things like endorse skills for some of your connections. For people that you know well, right? Don't just randomly start endorsing people that you don't necessarily know all that well or that you've just recently met through connecting on LinkedIn. Think about, family, friends, coworkers, professors, people that you know well, that you can go in and, endorse some of their skill sets that they have listed on their profile. I find that lots of times if you do some endorsements for your connections, they're inclined to do the same thing for you. So it's kind of a quid pro quo kind of a thing. And it's always nice to be able to kind of do that, right? You know, that's part of the process of being part of the LinkedIn community. You can look to share recommendations, right? If there's someone that you want to recommend, you can write a quick recommendation for that individual. And we'll talk with you in the building your LinkedIn account in terms of how to ask for recommendations that you can post on your LinkedIn profile as well. So just a few of the things that you might want to keep in mind in terms of best practices on LinkedIn. All right, so one of the things that we said that we would definitely talk with you about is how to utilize LinkedIn as part of your job search. So there are a few things that you can do. The first thing is connect with your connections, right? Reach out to those people who know you, let them know where you're at and what you're attempting to do, right? Just throw it out there. Hey, Janice, been a while since we've chatted. Just wanted to let you know that, I'm looking for a summer internship working in the marketing field. If you hear of anything, would you be willing to share that information with me? Right? You're not reaching out to your connections asking for actual internship or employment opportunities. You are asking them to kind of, be a watchdog, right, for you in terms of if you hear of anything, if you know of anything, can you please let me know? That's part of why you have those connections. Maybe you utilize a connection to do a resume review for you, right? You work in a company that I'm looking to apply to, or a company that's similar to the company you work for. Can you give me some feedback on my resume with some constructive feedback in terms of, am I touching on, the important parts of what an employer would want to know about me if I was looking to go into your line of work or working for a company like yours. Talked just a couple seconds ago about those recommendations and endorsements. Definitely make sure that you're reaching out to your community of connections and asking for those recommendations and endorsements. And it's a little uncomfortable to do at first, right? But it's something that you need to get comfortable with doing because it's important to authenticate for people who are looking at your profile who don't know you that you do have value, right? That there are people out there that are willing to vouch for your abilities. So, definitely reach out to, some people and say, hey, if you have a few minutes, would you be willing to hop online to LinkedIn and maybe endorse, some of the skills that that you've seen me use in your classroom, or that you've seen me use at work, or that we used as part of this academic project, right? So depending upon how you're connected to that individual that you're asking for those endorsements, there will be different skill sets that they can endorse for you. With recommendations, it's no different than, doing it in person, right? Reach out to that connection and just say, Janice, I'm starting to look for internship and employment opportunities. Wondering if you'd be willing to, write just a quick statement of recommendation that I can post on my LinkedIn profile. The nice thing about LinkedIn recommendations is that they don't have to be super huge or long. Somebody doesn't have to necessarily feel like they have to write a full one-page document recommendation for you. So sometimes brevity can work in your favor anyway. Obviously, you can use LinkedIn to search for jobs. It actually has a job posting board and a job search tool. I would definitely encourage you to work with that tool and discover how it functions and take a look at some of its filtering tools in terms of helping you out with your search and then saving those searches so that you can get notifications when something new pops up that seems to match your interests. The other thing that I like about LinkedIn is that you can follow companies. And here's my tip of the day. If you're out there applying for internship and employment opportunities, you better be following the companies that you're sending your applications out to, because I've already shown you on previous slides and talked about the statistics in terms of the number of people who use LinkedIn as a tool to help screen and identify more information about candidates that they're interested in. So if you're applying to my company and I go and look at your profile and I can't see that you're following me as an organization or a company, I might question how much you really do or don't want to work for me. So make sure that you are following companies that you are interested in and that you are applying to as part of the process through LinkedIn. Hopefully you're starting to see and understand the value of joining the LinkedIn community. And if you're still looking for more assistance or more information on LinkedIn, why to join, how to build out your profile, there are a lot of different resources that you can use. So LinkedIn has its own help feature, as well as its own YouTube channel. And both of those are pretty straightforward in providing you with some basic information in terms of best practices, how to go about building out your profile. We also have a webinar where we talk to you about what type of information to populate within your LinkedIn profile. So you can always check that out. But you can also reach out to us either through email or through reaching out to us through our booking tool and scheduling a phone appointment where we can actually talk with you about your LinkedIn profile. We can certainly pull it up on the screen and talk you through it and walk you through it and share some ideas in terms of how you might strengthen your profile. So again, lots of different ways to potentially build out and strengthen your overall profile. So here's just a quick reminder again of how you can reach out to us. Our booking tool is embedded within this webinar, so you can always use that to schedule your telephone conversation. And as I mentioned, you can email Cliff, Lana, or myself for additional help and assistance. And our emails are here on the screen for you to utilize as well. Thank you for joining us today. Until next time.